everybody. We're back live on the Space Tomatoes podcast. I'm your host, Havoc, and your other host.
Hello, I'm Alex.
And we with us a guest from the War Dragons community, big outdoors guy, just a pretty solid guy all around, Lumber.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey bud, how you doing?
Good.
It's been a while.
I know, some years for sure.
Yeah, man. So what do you been up to today?
Oh, today I was out in Rockingham, North Carolina, meeting with one of my accounts, that in professional world, right? So just doing some stuff with them and writing some contracts. But long day back home, Port of Bourbon, talking with you guys, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Sounds like a great time.
I actually forgot you were in North Carolina too.
Yeah, East Coast, man.
Yeah.
Havoc's only a couple hours away, maybe. I don't know if I should have said that, but
you came from like California, didn't you?
No, never West Coast.
I thought you were out. Oh, I thought you were out there.
No, I must have been a different guy.
No, I'm just brain dead, getting old.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah. No, yeah, Lumber's about maybe 2.5 hours away from our place. So, yeah, right down on the coast. Well, now not so much on the coast, right? But very close.
Yeah. I think the beach is like 45 minutes away, so coast enough, right?
Nice.
That is coast enough for me, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you came back to War Dragons. Are you just you really into self-deprecate? I mean, like, what's the deal?
A little crazy. So this year marks my 10-year anniversary. So I started playing it was 2015, summer of 2015. And I've retired a few times, and I don't know. It was during duck season just went out in the Carolinas, and I had that nostalgic withdrawal, and I'm like, I'm gonna log back in, and I did, and I'm like, this is cool. I reconnected with some friends because the people kind of bring you back, right? I miss the people, so there's some really good friendships, but I come back and I can't just play casually because I was on Dreadnought with LX for almost a year, and before that I led other Diamond teams, so I'm like, I gotta go to Diamond, and here I am 4 or 5 months in, and it's been interesting to say the least. The game's changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
not for the better, but
When did you come back to it? Just recently? Is that something new, or months ago, or?
Well, and I could tell you this, like, kind of the history. Like, I had my laptop here. I was like trying to log all the teams I've been on. It's crazy. I don't even remember. But the main ones, I was on Equilibrium. I led that for 2-3 years, right? I inherited it from Allie and Bulldog, who had it in Sapphire. They weren't really competitive. This was after Dread destroyed them the first time, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let's go to Diamond with this team. So where was I? I don't even know. When did I come?
Talking about Equilibrium.
Yeah, so
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. So yeah, we took it back to Diamond. I had some really good officers, and it was just fun. That was probably almost the funnest I had in playing the game. We'd war like every night, group calls. It was what the game was made for, right? War Dragons, just the camaraderie with really good friends. We used to have team meets, man. We'd go to Vegas, we'd meet up. It was like a family, and I really that's what brought me back. It's just that those relationships with real people. They're professionals. Most of us are professionals, right? When I downloaded the game, I was actually in an airport flying to DC. I'm like, I don't know how it popped up. I was like, War Dragons. I'm a nerd. I like dragons. I'm a Harry Potter buff, Lord of the Rings, right? So I'm like, this is really cool. It's like Sims and dragons and fighting. So yeah, so that kind of the 10-year anniversary of me playing and kind of missing it because it's been. I came back in 2021 for about 10 months to lead Digital Chaos. That was interesting. They suckered me into it. I've had a couple bourbon pours and they're like, come back. So came back and I led led Digital Chaos, which was I still have PTSD during that time. LX, you were on Dread, I think, during that. You guys were pounding DC, and they're like, you're good with conflict resolution. You know, kind of make a truce. So it took 6 months and a dozen castles traded to kind of resolve that. And I handed leadership over to Shiggy. I don't know if you remember her. And I said, "F the game. I'm never coming back." This was like the end of 2021, and yeah. So I'm on a good team now. They're a good group of guys. A lot of old school players are they're hiding out. Not really hiding out. I mean they're public, but just so many teams have disbanded. I mean, you look in
Yeah.
Atlas, it's absolutely insane. Like there's vacant level fives. Like
Oh
that would
yeah.
have never happened like, during the game's prime, right? So
Yeah.
it's a different game.
Yeah, it is. So so this last time you quit, you quit for a good stint, right? A couple of years.
Yeah, about 3 years. Now, like my daughters, like they actually when I first downloaded the game, I had three devices and I wanted to get my daughters playing. So, I had three accounts. They played for like a month and stopped. So I didn't. So I had alts. So I kept, playing them. And, during the last 3 years, my youngest, she was on a little Sapphire, not Sapphire, I think it was a Platinum team, just goofing off, So she kept it idled, sort of, kind of. And so it was behind, but not crazy behind. I've spent some money to catch it up. I'm not quite in game, but I'm somewhat relevant to have fun competitively right now, which is pretty cool.
I
Sweet.
had kind of the same experience. I talked my wife into downloading it. She played like 2 days and said, "This is stupid." And that's how I got my ult. Yeah.
Yep,
So
yep.
so after you quit that time, like, did you get? Well, it sounds like you kind of didn't really quit. You were kind of in and out, but did you kind of like? I mean, miss it? What did you fill your time with?
Oh man, so that's a good question. We briefly talked about that prior to recording. So I'm a big outdoors guy, right? So I love anything hunting and fishing. I decided to actually start like a YouTube channel, like social media, and I've carried GoPros out on my hunts and fishing trips, and posted them, and I have quite a large following now, and that kind of preoccupied a lot of time. So, as I mentioned before, duck season went out. There's no hunting. You could coyote hunt, but I was like, it's a perfect storm for me to come back. The bourbon was good too, so. But right now, I'm kind of struggling because I am in Diamond, and turkey season is upon us, right? Here in the
Oh
Carolinas.
yeah.
So I'm like, I'm missing Quest. I'm getting yelled at. I'm like that part of the game I don't miss. It's when it becomes a job, right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Still setting those alarms for 3 a.m.
nope,
Mhm.
nope.
No,
I
you're missing events, Lumber. You're slacking.
I know. I'm horrible at PvP. I don't even know why they keep me on the team, but Atlas though, it's I'll sit and I'll hit teams for hours, so they like that, because I'm not the best flyer, but I'm pretty good, especially when I know the dragon.
Yeah. I think you were a pretty good flyer myself. I don't know.
Well, I was, yeah, people have said that.
I can kind of picture how it went down. You're like probably sitting up in a tree stand, and you decided to look at your phone, and you're like, "Oh, the new War Dragon season. It's Soul Drain. That's for me. That's what I need back in my life is Soul Drain."
Soul Drain, that Soul Drain. Something like that. Yeah. And now I'm just, I don't know. I don't know how long I'll keep it up. I don't see it forever indefinite. You know, the same events that you guys left and when I left, they're
Mm,
still running. They're still running in cadence. And I'm
nice.
like,
Mm.
guys, you're dealing with player retention. Obviously it's a money making game, right? So people aren't spending. You got to add a little something. I'm sure there's variables to like get programming cost, but I don't know. I figured they'd have a different event, but nope, it's the same events.
I mean, they could
Same
even
stuff.
mix up the map, but nope, nope. Two lefts, two rights, and bam, and you're done.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Mm.
But hey, look, like you had said, right? It's the camaraderie. It's the brotherhood, if you will, right? There is a lot of that, right? And it has a lot of pull on people. It does on me, or did.
Mm.
Nowadays, I really couldn't imagine myself going back. Not just the base. If I hadn't done that with my base, I'd still. I think being in some of the team chats still. Uh, I see the same frustrations, the same, you know, monotony kind of a thing going on, and I just no interest. I'm like, oh, they're griping about this. Oh, they dropped another currency for yet another tower. Oh, and I'm like, oh man, but I did love it. There's no question about it. Just like you, I saw dragons and I was like, wait, what? I can fly a dragon and kill stuff? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
in. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And the mechanics aren't too complicated. That a 5-year-old could figure it out, or an 80-year-old could figure it out. So I think they're onto something. I did list some pain points we could talk about later. Easy fixes, just kind of looking in, but again, there's cost to that. And I think if I don't know, PG is I feel they've plugged their ears a little bit with community feedback, just a little bit. I think the input they're getting is a little biased. I'm unbiased. I've been on all sides. I was on Yin Yang for almost a year, actually,
Yep.
with you in
Yep.
2000. I was 21, actually. Yeah. Um,
Yep.
so all sides, there's just, I don't know, the voice isn't heard. I think if they did more surveys and polls and got more feedback, they'd make little minor changes to kind of drive revenue. That's my background is, finance, right? I understand ROI. I understand all that. When I was at the summit with you in 2019, I had a chance to sit down with the marketing manager, and we were bouncing ideas back and forth, and she's like, these are really awesome. And she's like, I'll follow up with you. Well, 2 weeks later, she quit the job. So I'm like,
Mm.
all those great ideas, just, I don't know. Um, I think they could do things a little more efficiently, and player retention's always been an issue, and now more than ever, I don't even see how the game's still going. I mean, I
So, so,
really don't.
so the
Go
game
ahead.
had a special invitation for very dedicated players. I wonder how they came up with the criteria on who to invite for that event. I'm
They
still a
did.
little mad about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got invited. I had to sign an NDA and all that. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah. That
Yeah,
it was a
Pocket
nice.
Gems was never too big on the little fixes. They're like, we're gonna take your list that you've carefully compiled and taken hours to research, and you know how we're gonna fix it? We're gonna add a new currency. That'll fix everything.
that'll fix everything. They just dropped the new tower. Absolute, like, it's. I get what they were trying to do, but I don't know.
I get what they're trying to do too.
Yeah, line their pockets. However, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. People will buy
Yeah,
it. Like I've spent when I can't come back. I've spent a lot. I mean, not crazy like I used to, but I've spent some money trying to catch up because to play in Diamond you have to be somewhat relevant. You got to be able to beat the bases. Otherwise, what's the point in being a Diamond, right? But
How
yeah, for
how hard is
sure.
it to develop one of these games? Is it like really intensive or what?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I think and we got this feedback at the summit, right? Is the main issue again is that they coded it all on a really old UI, right? One of the kind of first ones that came out that people were kind of using as a commercial UI. And when they went to try and unravel the code to put it into a new UI, they started finding that there were dependencies everywhere, kind of like the whole water shrine thing, right? We can't
Mm,
get rid of it because if we get rid of it, it borks the whole game, you know?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty big forklift type of approach if they want to get it into something that is more flexible, that they could modify base design. They could change the layout, so you're not, like Alex said, two left turns, two right turns, and you're home. But again, that's a pretty big dump of money right there. You're going to have to go through what I can only imagine is a stacked layer of crap on top of crap on top of crap, and it's just all interwoven. So,
Mm,
but I will tell you, that right there would probably lead to a ton of interest. I think people would be a lot more happy with that and a resurgence of it. But on that same track, what are some small, like if we could shove this in PG's face, what would be some small incremental changes that they could make that likely wouldn't cost too much but would improve player satisfaction or happiness?
mm. That's a good question, right? So, overpowered like TAs and alliances have always been a pain point for some, right? When you're in that LX is
Right.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been there. Dude, I was right. It's fun. It's fun for us, but not the community, right? So how would you kind of balance that? I thought about it. An Atlas shuffle, right? So you have teams every Atlas season that are randomly selected by team power, randomly put in. You form your five TA, your five team TA. That's going to force team collaboration. And if you don't like that team, well, guess what? You're SOL because you're stuck with them for the next however many days that season is. And kind of increase, like, how do you incentivize like cooperation? Well, have big TA collective pot prizes. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know, 5,000 12-hour timers. That may be excessive, but something that's like, okay, we're going to work together. And, maybe it's glory driven collectively. I don't know. I mean, but I think that's kind of within their control to have, change those mechanics. Those mechanics they have a little more influence over in Atlas versus regular gameplay was my understanding. And that would bust up, alliances, a random selection every season, team cooperation. This actually, I was talking to three from Strikers. She brought this up, and I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. Um, but it's something to entertain because that would really shake the map up a lot. I don't know if you reset the map entirely and you conquer new castles, that would be cool. But right now, I mean, you look at the amount of vacant castles and pirate teams, that's going to fix that naturally. If there's a reset
Yeah.
every 30 days or what seasons every 90 days, I don't even know. That's going to fix a lot of it because pirate teams are a huge issue right now. So
Yeah.
I have an idea to fix pirate teams if they don't want to do that shuffle. When you hit those beasts in Atlas to get resources, gold. like every time you hit them, it drops, right? So if you go to a castle and you hit one player's Primarch, every time you hit them, the GP gets curved. Maybe it's 100%, 70%, 50%, 0. So that's going to help with bullying. You know, those are easy mechanics and that's going to fix pirate teams too. So, I mean, I have a whole book of ideas. You know, I'd love
we prefer to call it character building. It's
character
not
building.
bullying.
No, I like that. I like that. Spare the rod, spoil the team, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of ideas, and the community has good ideas, and I think if they hear enough of them and they look at ROI saying, hey, it's not going to cost us much to implement these, and we could potentially drive this amount of revenue, let's try it. Let's entertain it. Right now, their game's dying. It's dying fast. So they gotta think outside the box. I do like some new mechanics that they've added, right? So there's relics. Were you around when there were relics that you could add the dragons and like
Yeah,
bases?
they had just started that when I left. I left
Really?
in November of 23, so they had just started the relic creation process where you could, craft your own. But there was a lot of, and I heard they've done a better job with it. But people were just getting like, 5% wood boost or something like that, like
Yeah.
way too often.
No,
And obviously that gets expensive.
it does, but they have it now to like before. You know, if you have a max base, max towers, um, the common runes and glyphs, like you're kind of like copy paste your bases somewhat similar. Like if you have max research, right now there's more of a chance to have a unique base, because not everybody's going to have the same relics and like your dragons, and they have the new gear. Like ascended gear wasn't around when I was retired. Now there's ascended gear that goes up to level 12. So I like a lot of the things they've done. And the towers, right? How I've actually been able to catch back up is, it costs like 3 or 4 days to get, a level 120 tower to 121. So like the curve to catch up is kind of, they've incentivized players that have retired to come back. Same with breeding, it doesn't cost as much to backbreed. So I do like a lot of the things they have done. Continue doing that. Um, just building upon that, making it more unique for the player. To have the spenders out there are going to have the best base regardless, right? So give them that advantage if they want to spend $500,000 on their base. Let them have the best base that's hard to beat. That's going to drive revenue for them. So.
Do they still have those guys in the top tiers that have like the whole season done in like a day or two? Those
There's
guys,
not as yeah,
they're still around.
not as many there's not as many JLs, right? But there's a handful of them.
Nice.
I've I've never been that guy. Like I don't
Nah,
like
I've never been that guy.
yeah, yeah, but I'm smart with saving chest and opening certain things during the start of a season, and yeah, but there's still some big spenders.
Yeah, I always thought it was cool. Like by the end of the week, you could be, get the review on them. Like, don't spend your money on, or your token. Or I forget even what the currency was to get there. The sigils or something. I don't remember. But he's, don't spend it on this one. Go for this one.
Sigils. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you imbibing on there?
Drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little William Weller LaRue out of Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. It's a good bottle. So you're a
Looks good.
bourbon guy. You were mentioning, right? You like
Oh yeah.
the Blantons. Yeah,
Well, I like all sorts of bourbon personally, but yeah, I
yeah,
have my favorites, and Blanton's just happens to be one for me. Like we had discussed previously, it has some variations depending on where they're pulling, what barrel and where in the barrel they're pulling it from. but in general, it's the most consistent and reliable. Like, I am going to enjoy this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, especially if you bump up to Blanton's Gold, then, that's, for me, it's always a pretty consistent drink. Yep, that's it. Yep, got a bottle of it over back here. And then have you tried the red, the Japanese
I
intro
have.
that they pulled back?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that one?
It's a little more oaky. It's got a little. It's a rye. It's the rye mash bill. I like it. I like all of Blanton's. I've had the green label, the black. I was trying to complete the vertical. I have. Are you a Weller guy? Do you like weeded bourbons?
I sometimes it depends. Weller's for me is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it's really good. I have had some that I just wasn't a big fan of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the best in that lineup, and you could find it, is the Weller 12. Like I like right around that 90 proof. It's good. You could
Yep.
pour a little, half pour and just sip on it. I'm more of a collector. Yeah, I'll drink. Tonight was an occasion to reconnect with friends, so I'm like, you know what, I'll have some good pours. But that kind of preoccupied some of my idle time in War Dragons. I'm like, I have all this money I'm not spending. Like, what do I do? I'm like, I want to create a bourbon bar. So over the last 3 years, I've created a pretty impressive collection. So I guess when I run
Nice.
out of bourbon, I'll quit War Dragons again and start spending there. But
Restock the bourbon. Awesome,
restock
man.
it for a while. Yeah.
Nice.
We switch
You
over to
get
like chick beer.
well,
I have not. Hey, I've had some busies before, man. They're not bad. On the boat, it gets hot. Like I can't if I'm out in the sun, I can't drink bourbon. That's just too heavy. I'll
yeah.
drink I'll drink some light beers. There's nothing wrong with that.
My wife actually loves Corona Premier. That's her favorite, and turned LX onto it. He not a beer drinker, does not like beer in general, but seems to enjoy that. I think, right?
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah,
Hmm.
on vacation once a year. It's good.
There
Once
you
a
go.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and bourbon. Yeah, I can't even imagine hot day and bourbon. Oh,
Yeah.
that just reminds me of very interesting times. Sitting at a picnic table next to a pool, and someone pulls out a little mason jar with clear stuff in it and twists the
Yeah.
cap. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not going to be it's going to be a fun day, but it probably won't be a memorable day because you don't know what the hell you
Not for
did.
you anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do you have going on in your life?
Well, I got a lot of hobbies, guys. Um, so I make wine. That's kind of, I think
No
I'd
kidding.
mentioned that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got on our region, it's muscadine grapes. So I grow quite a few muscadine grapes, and that's a hobby. Eventually, like on the bucket list, is we'll start a boutique little winery. I make probably 300 gallons of wine a year right now. I gift it all. So and you've had muscadine. You heard of Duplin Winery, have it? So
Uh, Yep.
they they grow a lot of their grapes around here. Like my neighbor, he grows for them. So my soil and conditions are great for it. So I have a few acres that are growing just for fun. So that's taken up some time. I have a homestead out here, so chickens, ducks, quail. The kids, they love that. Living out here in the country. But
Oh yeah.
fishing and hunting, loving every day, man. That's kind of the name of the game for me.
That's it right there. Yeah, I haven't taken
That's
on
it.
quail yet. I keep thinking about it, but the eggs are so small, and just I get frustrated trying to make anything with them. And then, I love quail, but it's just, it's appetizers, I guess. I keep thinking about it though. I'm like, man, it would be cool because they're quiet. They come up real quick, and people seem to really love their eggs. So maybe something we have to take on at some point.
My wife keeps talking about the quail thing. Like it's pretty amenable to the urban homestead kind of thing. Like they don't bother
Mm.
people, and so any pointers on the quail that you can give me?
Oh yeah. So I guess the big one that a lot of homesteaders we have Coturnix Jumbo Brown, right? So uh, super easy to raise, man. They almost look like I keep them in stacked bunny cages. That's what it looks like, and they have to stay in smaller cages, otherwise they bounce back up. Like if you have a 2 foot ceiling, they're gonna break their necks because
Mm.
they're really skittish. So I mean I hate it. They're only 15 foot ceilings, but if they get scared and jump up, they're not gonna kill themselves. But there's some light level variations. You have to keep artificial light in if you want to get eggs. They have to get X amount of hours of daylight a day to produce eggs. But man, you could hatch a quail in I think it's 18 or 19 days. We had several hundred quail at one time, and it got out of control. So we gave a lot away and established other homesteaders. But right now we're down to probably 50. And
Okay.
the eggs are small, right? But I pickle them. Pickled
Oh,
quail
nice.
eggs. Oh my gosh, you get a mason jar of that. It's really good. It really is good. So, um,
How does that
just
work?
make it to pickle them, right? So
Yeah.
you can make your own pickle brine. It's gonna comprise mostly of sugar, salt, and then vinegar. And you could add
Mm.
herbs and stuff, but it's really easy. I pickle okra. I mean, we grow probably half an acre of okra every year. I'm actually working on having my own pickle brand, pickled okra and pickles actually. So I have a few um, brines that people are liking. So I'm testing it. Like I said, I got a lot of hobbies. My hands are in many pots. I don't know why I came back to War Dragons, but here I am.
Mm-hmm.
I just
But
just had an image of a label for Lumber's pickles, and it's
yeah,
like some lumberjack dude and holding a big fat dill pickle. I'm sorry, it's a little
it's good.
rude,
It's
but
good marketing. It is good
I'm telling
marketing.
you,
Not
oh
too far
man,
off either, but
you'll definitely want to stick this big fat pickle in your mouth.
Yeah, that's probably not going to go over well with everybody.
You'd be
no.
amazed.
Yeah, there's some risque marketing out there that works. So mm.
There is for sure. Yeah, man. Well, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, the farm life is treating you well. How did the transition go? Was there any like issue with the family, with you? Was it difficult? Did you kind of, I got to get back to people or events or anything like that? Or
Mm. Mm. So this was during 2020 when the pandemic was kind of at a high, right? We had a house right there on the intercoastal waterway. My boat's in the water. I could go offshore anytime I wanted. So leaving that and kind of, my family lives there, wife's family lives there. It was kind of hard, but um, we really thought and prayed about it, and we're like, let's go to the country. Let's move to the country. That's always been my dream, but when you have a wife that's grew up in Atlanta, big city girl, and I'm like, that's never gonna happen. But when she's like, I had a dream we lived in the country, I'm like, let's make that dream a reality. So, the next day I'm like, we're looking at houses, and I'm like, I've never heard of that town. Let's go look at this house that I found, and 2 months later, we're living in it. I'd listed our house, it sold, and but the girls, you leave a network of friends and family. I'm not too far away. We're, maybe an hour at tops. So we're still relatively close to, city life. But um, the transition wasn't as bad as I thought. Luckily we fell into a good network of people up here to hang out with, like-minded folks that love the outdoors and love nature. So that kind of helped, quite a bit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Any
Yeah,
regrets
but
at all? Hey,
No, I mean, like I said, I still have family there. So if I want to go on a boat, I just drive an hour and hop on my dad's boat. So
nice.
it's, there's little sacrifice, but if you want to go to like a nice restaurant where you're driving 40 minutes, like we have a caution light. That's it. It's literally there's not a lot out. We have a dollar store and a gas
oh,
station.
nice.
So,
Is it
yeah,
is
so
it is it next to a food lion though?
no food line's 40 minutes away.
Oh,
So,
dang.
yeah,
Nice.
so it kind of
Nice.
puts you in a position to like if you want like fresh herbs and stuff, or you're growing them and then you're vacuum sealing them and then you're freeze drying them like so I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but 2020 was some crazy stuff for a lot of people, and we just the freedom out here. I'm like, you go into to the city, you're like, it's complete lockdown. You have to show certain identification. I'm like, where we're at, we're like, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
we're here, like like you're kind of on your own world. So um, we've kind of carried that mindset, and right now my girls they have a little withdrawals. They're like, I do miss my friends being able to play with them, but again they have a little network here, which is nice.
So you've been
Well,
there
that's
about
awesome.
5 years now.
Yeah, so right at 5 years. So yeah.
Have you noticed like an influx of people trying to do the same thing? Because I know where Havoc's at, there was like nobody, and then he's starting to have a few more visitors to the area, and sometimes it kind of
Yeah.
ruins what you have going on, because everybody else
Yeah.
wants the same thing.
Yeah, no, I've seen that quite a bit. It's funny, like 2021, you start to see social media posts and stuff like that, where urban homestead living, everyone's trying to get off the grid. So we moved at the right time when, like, the market was fantastic. Like, I got above my asking price on my house. Like, I was able to pretty much get this one, for cash. So now, man, if you have that desire to move out to the country, for one, everything's inflated. It's a crazy market. I'm glad she had that epiphany and that dream to move out to the country because, it would have been a lot harder and more challenging to do that now. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's
Right.
been quite a few families pop up. Luckily, where I'm at, there's a lot of farmland, so not a lot of. I looked at it on the map. I looked at floodplains because Carolinas we get hit by a lot of hurricanes. And there's a lot of flooding because I have a river half a mile down the road from me. However, I'm like 100 foot above sea level, so unless it's like a no one in the ark flood, like my house is fine. My river property is going to get destroyed, but I'm able to pull all my assets out of there. I have a mobile bathroom on wheels. I have everything's built to flood. I actually built it from scratch down there, which is really cool. So it did flood last year, which when we had
Mm.
all that rain, you remember that havoc? It was just
Oh yeah.
crazy amounts of rain. Yeah, I had like 3 foot of water on my property, um,
Oh,
but it dried out. My like everything worked just great. So it's knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't get 100-year flood and it goes higher than that. But um, I'm pretty happy with how things worked out.
Yeah, we've thought about making the move. It's just I'm just really nervous because even if you buy next to a 100-acre farm, the next thing you know, like that guy could sell it off, and now you have 150 home development going in there, or 500 home development, and you're like, man, this is exactly what I just got away from.
Yeah. Look at zoning. Like talk to your county and be like, can they ever do a development here, right? Like, does the land perk? Like, you could ask these questions, get it in some sort of written documentation. At the end of the day, anything could be bought, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you have the right developer with the right amount of, schmoozing and money, they're going to do things. But if you have some sort of written documentation, it might hinder that. But man, I love it. Like, are you, you're in Florida, is it,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Alex? Yep.
Central Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't look, I've never looked back. Like, I love where I'm at. I would take my phone and give you a tour. It's beautiful out here, man. I got 300-acre field to my right, and they're growing corn right now, and to my left is my vineyard, and it's just trees, big hardwood trees. It's nice.
That's
We really
awesome.
like it. Yeah.
We'll have to get you back on one point. I'll make a trip down and we'll do a little walkthrough and stuff. That'd be pretty
Oh, I'd love
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. It's a thing, man.
Yeah.
We just need to figure out the dates.
Yeah, I got my river property. I got a cabin down there. So anytime you guys want to come out and hang out and stay, you're welcome to. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, I still stay in touch with a lot of my old War Dragon friends. Like, they still come out to this day. Like, we hang out and go fishing and hunting because I mean we're real people.
Yeah.
There's some weirdos out there, but I don't really hang out with those. But you guys are always you guys are good in my book, man, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, we're still going strong on alpaca. We just finished, well, last year November, the 7th year of alpaca, which is pretty insane.
Wow.
Managed to pull that one off even with some forum shenanigans about, oh, you can't do that because it's a pandemic. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, we did get a bunch of crap from that, huh?
we did. We got a lot of crap for that.
I think I offered everybody if they wanted to come, I'll give you a free Tyvek suit and a SN95 respirator setup if you show up.
Right?
Nobody took the offer though, unfortunately.
No, it was, an interesting time, shall we say. So, you got some good fishing down in that river?
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, I grew up saltwater fishing. So, I had wahoo, king mackerel. We go off the shore to do some ledges for grouper. That's kind of in my family. Like, I'm like fifth generation fisherman. Like, Carolina Beach. There's
Nice.
charter boats that ran out of there, right? That was my family's. So, very established saltwater fisherman. I move out here, and I grew up, catching bass occasionally, but freshwater fishing something else, man. When you could literally hop in your boat on like dry land and catch a 50-pound like flathead catfish, like I'm like I have to go
Mm,
offshore an all-day trip to catch a 50-pound fish, but yeah, lots of really good fishing. It's just convenient, Have you ever been limb line fishing, Havoc?
I have not.
Have you heard of that?
I
So
have.
you go out, you have, yeah. So yeah, that's the kids love that. So I'll go out, set 20 lines. Basically, you have a tree that overhangs the water, and you tie a paracord with a weighted hook, piece of meat, and you come back 2 hours later, and that tree is just popping up and down, man. And the kids, they love it. They pull in a big old fish. My girls, they like to catch fish. I'm not going to say they like fishing, right? If they're catching fish, then yeah, they like fishing, but their attention span's really limited, and that's most kids. But even the adults, man, you set 20 lines, you go back to the camp, drink a couple beers, eat some barbecue, then go check your lines. It's fun. It's the best therapy in the world, I think, man. Really is.
Yeah, no question. We used to go up to Goshen, Virginia, a little hunting property, and had a river that came off of that, and it was great. Most of what we caught was red eye, to be honest, but there were trout in there as well. It was just, yeah, I don't know. I loved it. It's just I actually enjoy fishing though. Like you said, a lot of people enjoy catching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need the story on what you're doing there because I have no idea what that is.
It's not a bong.
I
So
thought you were gonna like light up a bong or something. Yeah, what is that deal?
no, so this I just made a that is a smoked old fashioned. So yeah, um, you've had old fashions before, right? So I got this little contraption. You put wood chips in. It looks like a bong because I'm looking at the camera angle. I'm like, do they see like that it's a drink, not weed? But yeah, so this is cherry wood. It infuses your drink. You get a nice oaky flavor with the bourbon. It goes pretty well.
I have
A little
never
bit of
seen anything like that before in my life.
Oh man, I used to bartend in college. So you
All
come
right.
out here, dude. Yeah. Yeah, you like the ladies like the espresso martinis with the creme brulee top and stuff. Like I do all that. So you get the wives nice and tipsy. It gives me a chance to go fishing and hunting. So yeah, my bar is always always being used in some way.
There it is, right there.
That's right,
Heck yeah,
man.
some good cherries in there. Yeah, and the smoke
Yeah,
kind of, at least for me, it helps cut down some of the sweetness. You know,
it
because
does.
I do love a Manhattan. Just something wonderful about that
It
combination.
is.
But
Yeah.
yeah, what are you using for bitters?
Well, I just used some orange bitters, but this stuff out of Woodford Reserve makes like chocolate bitters. Oh my
Ooh,
gosh, is so good. But yeah, I have all kinds of stuff down here, but yeah, this is just some orange bitters I used. Little black cherries. I don't use simple syrup. I don't like sweet things like you said. Like I'd rather
mm,
taste. That was blasphemy. I just used William Weller LaRue to make an old fashioned, but it was right by me. So
there you go.
it's my favorite drink. I like to actually like my coffee. I drink black. I just like the taste and the natural bean and the natural bourbon. So it's a good fun
Same here,
drink.
man.
Yeah,
Give me my dirt flavored water. That's all I want. I don't want any
and that's
stuff
it,
in it.
man.
Just the
As
good
is,
stuff.
baby. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe we'll get LX one of these days to drink a Manhattan.
Yeah, probably not. I'm good.
Probably not.
I got my water. I'm good with the water, and my girl beer once in a while.
Yeah. Girl beer.
Yeah.
We'll get you some girl beer. Chick beer. That's what I
What
always give
what
my
what,
wife
what kind of chick beer do you like?
Corona Premier.
I like it. It's smooth. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
bad.
that's what Mrs. Havoc drinks, and that's what I got lured into trying, and I'm like, hey, this ain't bad, I guess.
It's like
Yeah,
drinking
yeah,
water with a kick. You know?
Yeah, that's all right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's refreshing. That is for sure. After a hot day, you pop one of those things, you can down that thing like it was water. I mean, it really is. It's very, very refreshing. It's low in carbs, it's low calorie, and you know, big, big, big piece there is my wife. She doesn't get as plastered on those. Takes
yeah,
quite a few of them to get there, so it's a good thing.
yeah,
Put a little twist of lime in them, and good to go, I guess.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one, Blue Moon makes a Blue Moon Light. That's a
Mm.
really good one.
Oh,
It's more of a, put an orange in that. It's good boat beer. Because I'm out in the sun all day long. Like, I'm not drinking an old fashioned on the boat. Like, I've
yeah.
had that Corona Premier. That's good. But if you want something a little more light, it's only 4% alcohol. It's not heavy. But the carbs, there's no carbs and calories in it either. So, hardly. That's a good one. You might want to try that LX. Get an
Yeah.
orange
All
bill.
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you
the
for the
orange peel is
suggestion.
really
I'll try
yeah,
that.
the
Yeah.
orange peel, believe it or not, is a huge thing, right? If you don't do it, I mean, it's good. It's good, but if you add that orange, it really just it it changes the whole thing, right? The whole flavor profile changes. You get way more of what's in the beer, when you taste it, just from that little bit. It's like bourbon, right? If you pour a neat bourbon, if you really want to kick that flavor in, grab yourself a pipette or something and add like 2, maybe 3 drops of water on your bourbon, and just let it sit, give it a little stir, and all of a sudden the flavors come alive. I don't know why. I have no idea the science behind it, but it's a reality.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely opens up a bourbon, right? Especially the hot ones that are like, that William Weller. That's 142 proof. It does
Oh,
not
geez.
drink it. That's 140. I think that's 2017. That's hot, right? So, um, a couple drops of water, you get a more the viscosity is not leaving that. You're still getting all the palate notes and stuff. Like I actually like when I had first quit War Dragons, I would go to these distilleries and I took some certifications and like I'm not quite a sommelier, but like I understand it where I get invited and get like actually constructive feedback on nice bourbon. But yeah, those super hot ones, you got to have an ice cube or something. But like I said, that 90 proof, that 90 to 95, that's, you could drink it neat all day and it's
Yep.
not gonna burn your throat up where you got blisters. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that really hot stuff. I typically tend to avoid it, to be honest with you, just because it's so hot. I don't. I guess for me, it takes away some of the enjoyment. You know what I mean? But I'll
Yeah.
have to try it. I'll have to try it. I've never tried it with water added, just neat, and it's really good. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. But it's just it has that burn to me that just I don't find like when I was a teenager. I loved that burn. Woohoo! Let's go party. But nowadays that just hurts.
I get heartburn ever since turning 30, right? Like, yeah, I hurt. I gotta be mindful of what I eat and what I drink and how much I consume of everything. So I'm right there with you.
Next stop is this. It's coming.
Yeah, I have
Gray.
some. I got white. I got gray hairs. Some of them down here. It's starting. Luckily, like hasn't hit my head yet, but it'll matter of time.
It probably is. It's okay.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
I had a lot more color in my hair just from like the summit to now. Now it's pretty
Well,
much
you.
all
mm, No, you look good, man. I was actually like, you got a full set of hair. Like, you look like a
oh yeah.
GQ Santa Claus. I don't know. It's that country line. Nah, man, you're aging pretty well. So,
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm like
yeah,
a fine bourbon.
the bourbon preserves you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, you guys grow tomatoes?
I need to send some pictures. Yeah. So we went a little crazy. So we went from, living in somewhat, we had a half an acre in Wilmington. And we had just, a couple beds. We grew zucchini, tomatoes, and when we moved out here, we had all this land, and we're like, what do we do with it? So we're like, let's create these like 20 by 50-foot beds. And like we burned holes. We have the landscaping fabric with the drip tape irrigation. I need to send you pictures. It's done right. It's done right. But we have over 200 tomato plants every year.
Nice.
Yeah. And we haven't had really much luck with the big, the beef eaters, the big ones, but the cherry tomatoes,
Oh yeah.
you pick a 5 gallon bucket every day. Like I
Yep.
give them away. Like I make big giant batches of salsa and stuff. So um, yeah, we grow tomatoes really well, zucchini, like cucumbers out the wazoo, and okra. Have you ever grown okra? You can't kill it.
This will be this will be my first year growing
Really?
okra. I've
Oh
not
man.
historically liked it. Growing up, split family. So I lived with my dad, and he loved okra, but he liked to just boil it whole and then serve it on a plate. And as a child, the only thing I remember is just tons of snot. And so after that, it was just like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this. But my wife and I, we went to Florida. Our oldest lives there, and the LXs live there as well. So we went down there, and one of my colleagues lives down there, and we went over to their house for dinner. First night we were down there, and they're Indian, and they served up this dish with okra, and I was like, oh great, now I've got to eat it. You know what I mean? Because Southern raised, you get sat at a table and someone puts food in front of you. What do? You eat it. You don't have to ask for seconds, but you better finish your plate.
Yeah.
So I started eating it, and I was like, wait a second, that's okra. And we started talking about it, and shared the recipe with me, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna grow okra. Yep. So
Yeah.
and I'm not big on fried foods. I do like fried okra, but I try and avoid fried foods in general now. And
Yeah.
so that's off the table for me. So I was kind of like, yeah, no reason to grow something I'm not going to eat, but now I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. No, it's I'm right there with you as how it's prepared because it can be pretty slimy, right? You pickle it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. The whole thing. Don't just cut it up. Just pickle the whole thing. I'll next if you come down, like I'll give you a few jars. I'll mail you some Alex. Like you let me know what you think. But yeah, I got a sweet, a hot, and then just a mild. But I love it, and you can't kill it. Like you don't even like I planted half an acre, like an acre of it, and I never watered it like last year, and it just grew. I had like 7 foot bushes, and you have to
Wow.
pick it like every daggone day. And it
Yeah.
like the one thing I hate about it, you have to wear long sleeves and gloves because there's something on it like you'll itch. It feels like you're in
Yep.
poison ivy. Yeah, it's crazy. So, when the girls don't do their chores or something, I'm like, threaten them with picking okra. I'm like, you're gonna pick okra. But no, so yeah, we grow too much. We like to give it away. It's fun, man. Like trying to live our best lives, but it's doable. If the world shut down, like I could survive. Like I'm
Yep.
pretty sure I could. Just the resource of the land, the hunting, the fishing, the trapping. That's my world. I did that way before War Dragons. Like I understand, I'm an Eagle Scout, right? So like even at 14, 15, like I'd hike and wilderness survival, and then have some military background. Um, but it's just fun, man. Living off the land. I'm not worried about it. Go blackout. I'd love it. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Yeah. Isn't that an awesome feeling too? Knowing that, you just, it's like, okay, yeah, it would be tough. It would be different. It would be weird, but you'd be okay.
Yeah. No, we've done blackout assimilations. I'm like, in the next 48 hours a weekend, I'm shutting power off. Like we're gonna filter our water. We're gonna, yeah, that's, be prepared. That's the motto, right? So, I like that. All my kids, like I could take them out hunting. They're proficient in archery, right? And we could go shoot a dozen rabbits and make a nice stew, and they know how to clean it. They're 9 and 12, right? So they're young,
Yeah.
so you teach them young. They know how to take care of themselves, and it's all about discipline, but the ability to do it. So I love it. I'd love to eventually be on one of those wilderness survival movies or the shows, right? I think
Oh
I could
yeah.
do it. Like not naked and afraid because I'd embarrass all the other men, but like alone. Oh, dude, I think I could do it, man. I really do.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I know I could survive, with the goal of getting out of that situation. No problem. The idea of being there for 90, 120 days, not, yeah, I wouldn't, no interest in doing that, right? But,
Yeah.
knowing you could, if you were in that situation, you have the skills to, you know, be okay until you get out of there with the goal of getting out of there. Yeah, I see that as a worthwhile endeavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever go hunting, Alex?
I've tried it. Never really caught anything, or never, shot anything. We sat there in the tree for a while, and it was freezing cold, and we went deer hunting. Me and my buddy, and yeah, just saw one doe strolling by, and that was it.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm
that
like, yeah,
sounds like
that
a
probably
lot
isn't
of
for me.
sounds like a lot of what hunting is. Being cold and quiet and just, it's one of those things though. You get in there, not as much in a tree stand because, I don't know. At least for me, I'm always, like, I don't want to get too loose up in the tree stand and end up hanging off my tether or something, right? But, in a blind, especially, man, you get into this almost, meditative state, and it's insane. It really is. It's everything goes calm and quiet, and I think for me, like the first 10, 15 minutes in, my head's just pinging crap through it. You just ding, 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 ding. And then at some point it all just quiets down. And everything becomes focused. And that's when it just, oh man, it's awesome. It really is. I love it.
I'd try it again. I really don't have anybody to really show me the ropes, and like it's kind of hard starting from not knowing nothing. And I mean, at the
Yeah.
time, like I had somebody that I could have called that would have, told me what to do with with it if we actually got anything. But at this point, I don't even know anybody.
Nowadays, you just hang it and get it to the processor.
Yeah,
That's
there you
my
go.
way of doing it.
It
Oh,
is little. Yeah.
yeah.
But LX, man, come up like the next time you've hung out with Havoc. Like I'll take you out hunting. Like both you guys. Like I actually I have a whole processing facility at my house. I just butchered a whole cow. Like from start to
Oh, nice.
finish, I bought the
Wow.
cow, we dispatched it, I built a walk-in cooler. Like I got a whole video on it. It's pretty badass. So we hung it for 30 days. We grinded it up. I've done bear. I do bear, deer, hogs, like everything, man. So it's pretty cool. Like I could teach you how to make smoked sausage, how to cure meat where it'll stay for, keep for a year. Right. So it's fun, man. Like I like wilderness survival, like extreme. So I have probably 3,000 acres that I can hunt just around my house. So anything you want, bear, turkey, I got duck impoundments. It's like a hunter's haven out here. Even you, Avic, you're close. Anytime you get the itch to come out and hunt, let me know, man. I love just taking people that haven't had that experience and teaching them how to do it. It's kind of I've shot more animals than I can, I don't need to shoot anymore. Like I'd rather put somebody else on their first turkey or first deer, or first bear. I guide. So yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right. So getting about time to wrap things up. So one question for you real quick. One person, only one, who would you give
Hmm.
a shout out to in the War Dragons community?
Can we do the opposite of a shout out, like an F, like an FU?
We could do that after the shout out. Let's do the shout out first.
There's oh geez, you put me on the spot. I actually planned the answer to that what I just said. Oh gosh, there's too many, man. Like I've been on so many teams. Like I've networked with so many players. There's not just one. And the person I'd shout out, they don't even play anymore, right?
Oh, shout them out anymore. Anyway,
Oh, I don't know, man. Hmm. Oh, geez. I guess VIP from War Enforcers. I trained her as a little minion of mine. Um, but yeah, we still stay in contact. She's a
that's pretty.
good person, man. Not the favorite to some, but I know she's a great person.
Oh yeah, no,
I want to hear
for
who gets
sure.
to screw you.
Yeah,
Panda.
she was in our
Panda could go suck a giant tomato. I don't, dude. I
that
was
we
on Dread. Even when I was on Dread, he was such a dick to me because I was the leader of EQ. And here's the irony: he was on EQ, and he
yeah.
always gave me grief. But yeah, Panda, if you're listening, I hope you choke on a big giant cucumber. I love you, buddy. And yeah, it's fun. It's all fun and games. That's what War Dragons used to be. You know, just
Yeah.
that camaraderie, the banter. Like you get on D1 LC, right? You just talk shit. No one got banned. Now, it's so politically correct, man. Like
Really?
yeah, yeah. I just had one of my officers get banned for like it was a 2 week ban because she corrected some douche in LC. She set him straight, but it's gotten out of control, man. People can't speak their minds. I'm like, I'm staying out of LC because like you
Mm.
remember our days, like 2018, 19, like it was unfiltered. You had that
I,
one
for
guy.
one, have never engaged in any smack talking whatsoever in
Uh,
league chat ever.
yeah, no, I used to. I loved it. I loved it. Who was that one guy? Demon. He went by Demon.
Oh yeah.
He he raged for hours and never got banned. But yeah, it's a different game now. PG, I hope you listen and let's talk. I got good ideas.
I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
the guy that would be on a team for maybe a week at the most before he got kicked off. I think he was probably on like almost every
Yeah,
team on there
he
just to get
was.
in league chat.
He was, but that was fun. The most fun I ever played on this game was actually on Dreadnought. It was,
Mm.
right when the avatars released, and
Mm.
we were going after it, a No Mercy Order, Royal Road, and I was actually on the Atlas officer committee with Dreadnought. Like we go in, we plan raids. Like how do we evict, Royal Road? How do we get to these castles? And then at that time, like you remember World Domination or World D
Hmm.
Alliance?
I think so.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I tied like all of the Dread cronies together in one alliance. And I'm like, what's your pain point? They're like, we can't get to these castles. I'm like, why can't you? Like, we don't network with other smaller teams. And Flighty at the time, she's like, yeah, you need to listen to Lumber. Like we can make this happen. And I coordinated, I opened up castles and they were able to actually evict, and we disbanded No Mercy Order, like we evicted Royal Road. But that was my prime. That's when I was like, I'm quitting the game. We did the impossible. I'm done. And but I'm back, and I'm having fun. I'd yeah, I'd love
Um,
for it to get. I don't know. I have high hopes. I'd love to relive that, but I don't think, Global One Team Dreadnought. I was there for like 10 months. Loved it. Great people. Like the most solid organization you'd ever see. They just ran a tight ship, and I just really enjoyed it. I should have stayed retired. That's my regret. I should have because I left there on fantastic terms. I did, and then one day I became John Wick, and you remember that? I think Havoc. You said you're John Wick, so I'm like, yeah, I guess there was a disagreement. with somebody, and I told him to F off, basically. So it is what it is. No hard feelings. The team itself is a fantastic team. Um, I'd love for them to come back, though. That would be fun. That would
I
be fun.
Yeah, it would for some. For some, it would be fun. For others, maybe not so much. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I still think the
No, that
game
was a good
needs
season of
another
my life.
panda. Honestly,
I'm over it.
The beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid. Like I'm sure Dread will come. Like I don't know, let's do it.
I,
So
I said it.
apparently
If
he'll
Pocket
let
Gems comes out with War Dragons too, maybe we'll see.
yeah,
yeah,
he'll let
no, they
has the bat light in his backyard. It's like one of those super high powered ones, and it's got the sickle in there instead of the bat. Flip the switch. That's all it's going to take. Awesome. Okay, so who's one person you'd shout out in real life?
oh gosh, real life. I'm gonna get a
You don't have
little.
you don't have to give a name. You don't have to give a name, but you could just say this person is, whatever,
A real person, right? Yeah.
person in your life at some point in your life. You don't have to give a name, but you could say, yeah, it was a teacher of mine, or it was a mechanic person, or it was a hitchhiker I picked up, or whatever you want.
I got one. Jesus Christ.
There you go. Amen.
Nice.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's still relevant in my life, so I can end
Awesome.
with that. Yeah.
Me too.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for signing on with us, and hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you don't, leave a thumbs down. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions or ideas or something you'd like to see or hear. If you, I don't know, whatever, do the thing, do the stuff, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day wherever you may be.
Thanks for
Peace.
stopping by. Good seeing you again, Lumber. I appreciate you
Yeah, you
coming.
too.